Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid again with another 1v1 multiplayer game for you. We're on Scorched Earth map. I like this map. It's I haven't featured it many times, but it's a decent map. It's a fairly recent one, but I do like this map. It reminds me of one of the old classic maps. I think it's Annihilation, it's called, or Amsterdam, one of those maps. Well, it reminds me a lot of that map. It's more recent version, and I like the tile set, the colours. It's nice. It's a decent map. It was in RAGL 11, I believe. I fought on this map a few times myself, but I'm just going for an early capture on my oil, just one rifleman, and then train the engineer so you can get your capture straight away. Looks like my opponent's... He's only got 5 rifles, so I'm guessing he's going War Factory first. I should have just overrun him at this point, but I wanted to secure my oil first, and then go for this second oil derrick up here. Yeah, my opponent's got his engineer now. And I've built a pillbox, but I've stopped it halfway to save cash, because I build extra riflemen now. At the moment, my current build order is making extra rifles. I've got 18 at the moment and an engineer, but when I need the cash, I'll be cancelling my base defence if I need the credits. But if I don't, I've got a base defence half built, ready in case I need it. Yeah, my opponent did go War Factory first. Just speed up this initial bit. I've got, looks like I bumped into the enemy, but my opponent's captured the hospital, so he did get a bit of healing on that. But you see, I could have taken all of this if I'd have been a bit more aggressive, but now he's reinforced it. I'm going to have, I can't now. I can't take it now. So, as an important lesson, you should at least investigate a little bit and send 2 or 3 rifles to investigate, because if they're only guarding things with a single rifleman, your 2 or 3 rifles will flush them out and kill them. But if they are guarding these neutral structures with a presence as strong as yours, then you'll only lose 2 or 3 rifles to find out. So, But I didn't want them going... I want to take this hospital. Obviously, I don't know what the situation is. I don't know who's caught it, but I didn't want them going ahead. Here we go. It was right to halt them because I've got rocket troops up front that are just going to get wasted, and my light tank is cut off. Yeah, I pressed S to stop them, but I did... I forced my way through with weight of numbers. Dealt with them. Now I'm capturing that, and I've got enough here to capture this oil derrick as well once I'm done with the hospital. But I'm investigating their base here, look, and using a couple of rifles to check out what's going on. I'm not on attack move because if they see enemy ore trucks, they'll open fire. Now they excuse me, they won't do any damage, but they'll reveal their presence. So just move when you rifle scouts reach the enemy base. Use attack move always, but when they do actually get to the enemy base, just use move command to walk through. They're not going to do anything on attack move that's worth anything. So just use them for the scouting information. That's what they're there for. So just use move command. But look at how many shots this light tank's absorbing, because the enemy hasn't got rocket troops, and now he's walking. Looks like he's walking into... Yeah, he's trying to squash my men, but... Yeah, that was some sort of weird move command. I don't know. But that's held up his resource gathering operation. And I want my light tank out of there. He's just typed, anyways, dude, you're too good. And don't feel like playing, he says. So, okay. And I put thanks, but not with allies, though. And he put a question mark because, yeah. But it's only answering what he said. Thanks, but I'm not that good with allies. But he's put a question mark. And I put, I'm good with Russia. That's my favourite faction, as my viewers will know. I'm using France to learn to use allies, but I'm not good with them. You know, not yet. And then he's put, dude, you don't give a chance. Maybe, and then he's put, maybe point one will come online, and then I put, it'll be quiet for a minute, and then and you can come with him. Yeah, I didn't see that answer, but I put, it'll be quiet for a minute. And the thing is, with him saying that, I'm answering and I'm distracted. Now, let's have a look at... sorry, dude, I don't understand you, he put. So, yeah, whatever. But, you see, I'm answering this and it's distracting me. Now, my army value's ahead and I know I've done effective damage to his income because he's behind. But, you know, this, me answering, I'm not good with allies, but I'm okay with Russia. So I'm answering it. And this is a distraction to me. And then he put, what's your first language? So I should have just given up answering these questions immediately. I've typed English and it's just a distraction. He's doing this, so I'm busy typing and not concentrating. He knows that I'm English. That's why he's put can't be. And I put it is, sir. And he knows it is, it's just he's trying to provoke me to answer and distract me while he's busy doing all this, look. And then he puts, anyways, dude. But I'm not falling for it, look, because I'm using my units, but I still shouldn't have been answering. He says, you can't even be honest about something like that. And I just put, okay, no problem. And leave it at that because, you know, don't react to this. It's only to provoke your response, make you angry, and forget things and make me busy typing away while he's trying to turn the game around. It's all a joke and a tactic and, you know, it's shady. But, you know, if you let it work, then fair play to him, I don't mind. But, and this caught me off guard, but I'm launching this little attack here. I've taken out a power plant, but I wasn't expecting this. So I'm rallying units here, making a stand, not feeding them in piecemeal, I'm just like making a stand, you know? I've got to defend this, that's the priority. And this attack's underway here, and he's got very little, he's having to pull his harvesters away again, so that's the automatic counter-attack when you're attacked. And those units were there, but I had to wait for tank support. And now, just by carefully preparing a defence and letting my base defences whittle him down, it's destroyed this attack. And I've saved all the important assets. My Autrox were saved, because they retreated there. And, yeah, I've disrupted his operations here. Done fairly well. Let's see, yeah, I'm in low power, though. And it was not through attacks. I lost a power plant here, but it was through me building. So I'm now struggling to, you see, and I know that where the enemy's going to likely to attack, so I made my primary structure here, and I don't know he's coming, look. This is all I can see, but, you know, you get a game sense. All my primary production's here, look, and I had a sense that that's where he was going to hit me. So you do get a sense for it, a game sense for where you're in trouble. So I'm setting up base defences, I've got primary production, although there's something else going on, because it's no longer infantry production, but this is going to run away. There we go, look. So my opponent caught me off guard by doing this, but I've immediately got to counterattack, because while he's attacking I need to distract him. He's sending all his units as reinforcements. But look, here we go, look. This is my attack while he's attacking. I've got my resourcing operations set up again, back up and running, but I've had to fall back here. And we're both in low power, although he is in a terrible situation for power. What's he doing? He's going back to home base, where he should have pressed on. You see, I've saved this, And with his other attack here, I saved my ore trucks and my MCV, so I'm saving the important assets. The amount of times I've pulled his ore trucks away from resource gathering, multiple times. So, you know, it's been bad. At least he saved this, although he's been fighting off my attacks because I wasn't fully prepared. When he was saying early on, like, oh, you're too good and all this, and he doesn't want to play, I half fell for it. Although I'm always of the opinion it doesn't matter what they're saying. Even if they say GG and they've given up, I don't stop. I'll finish the game and wipe them out. Because if they say GG and play on, yes, it's unsporting, but, you know, some people consider a shady tactic quite acceptable, so I'm not going to fall for that, and don't fall for it. It's polite, and don't do it yourself. But this guy, you know, he was simply provoking responses from me for the purpose of distraction. He knows I'm not lying about what language I speak, it's quite simple. And I don't mind, I put no problem. But it caught me off guard when he starts turning up with these forces, look. But I've saved that, and I'm gathering a defence here. So if he moves through this way, he's wiped. He's going to get wiped out. And when I realised he wasn't, I went this way instead to catch him. But I've saved my MCV again, look, and caught him as he's fleeing. So now we've got this. I need to stop units immediately. Yeah, look, my frontline units have stopped. Get the rest of them into a formation. There you see, my infantry aren't moving, only the ones that move into a formation. There, look, there you go. Get them into a concave, tanks up front, and you'll turn the engagement. But now, I think, you know, he's put, okay, GG, you liar, he put. So, never mind, but I guess he's a bit sour. I suppose some players call it salty, but it's sour. Not salty, it's sour. And he doesn't mind, but he's left. So he might be saying blah blah, but he's left without surrendering, so he's abandoned his troops. I don't need to say what that is, you know, it speaks for itself. But it was actually a fairly fun, decent game, and I decided it was, I wanted to go on a map that I haven't used a lot, and I wanted to use allies, and I use France usually with allies. I've got my tech, but I just didn't end up employing it. He's got a rocket troop, look there, so he's, that was alright, an interesting place to put one. But yeah, I'm using France for this game, and it's, like I say, I haven't been on this map for a while, although I do like it, so I decided to use France and go against a player I had no idea how good he'd be, and then, you know, use a decent map I don't go on, use a faction I'm not used to using, against a player I didn't know what to expect, and I thought it's decent, challenging conditions to practice using allies under, you know? I thought, why not go on a map where I know it and I'm good on it, like Timian or Kosovo, and when I use allies on a map like that, I've got a better chance. But why not step out of your comfort zones sometimes, and instead of doing that, I'm going on a map that I'm out of my comfort zone, especially with a faction that I'm not very good with. You know, I'm not good with the allies, I'm just not. I find them harder to use. And the reason I find allies harder to use is because they are made that way. They're made to be, I think they're a better faction, but they're harder to use to their full potential, but they are a better faction. I think they were made that way. The Soviets are brute force, easy to use, very powerful. I've had plenty of infiltrations going on, so I'm taking his cash away. Even if he has abandoned his forces, I don't mind. I'll still make use of his resources. And I think the Soviets, like I say, they're brute force and heavy frontal assaults, and they have got some useful tools like grenadiers and flamers. Flamers are good in defence and attack because they suppress infantry in defence, and in attack they wipe buildings out, excellent. And grenadiers can be used in the early game to attack buildings with APCs, they're very good. And the flak truck counters allied tech level 1.5 and tech level 2. When the allies get their radar dome and they get access to helicopters and artillery, the Soviets don't need their own Tech Level 2 to combat that. They can produce the flak truck, and it's a cheap counter to Allied air units, and it's a cheap counter to Allied artillery, because the flak trucks are fast enough to nip around behind enemy forces and snipe artillery units. They're quick, and their weapons are excellent against light armour. And so the Soviets, as soon as your enemy, an Allied opponent, starts to produce tech units, you can counter them immediately for very little cost. You don't need anything. You don't even need a service depot. You can immediately build flak trucks out of your war factory as soon as you built it. So you've got a unit that can counter the Allied Tech Level 2 assets, whereas the Allies don't have that. If they want to stop enemy Soviet Yaks and V2s, they need the AA guns are their best defense against enemy air force, and AA guns have a very large field of fire, but you have to increase their view range with something else, because they can't see very far. Allied AA guns, they can't see very far at all, so they won't attack targets very far away, but if you give them extra vision, they will then fire a lot further. That's why Allied AA guns are good in the centre of a base, because their range is like this square. That's about the range of an Allied AA gun. Honestly, it's a circle, but it's about that big. They're massive. But you need the radar dome to produce that, so you haven't got an easy, cheap counter to Soviet or Allied Tech Level 2 stuff when you're using Allies. You just haven't. Light tanks do counter artillery, but they're so weak at everything else. So they're not an effective, cheap counter for everything your opponent is going to produce at Tech Level 2. The light tank, it's not. It's just not. Not like the flak truck. It's useful for enemy aircraft and sniping things like artillery, hunting MCVs. The flak truck is useful. That's all. I don't use the flak truck. That's the only time I'll produce them, is in answer to enemy tech, like artillery and aircraft. That's when I'll start producing flak trucks, but they're there and easily available when you need them. The Allies don't have that, so there's been a fair few games where I've been doing well with Allies, and my opponent defeats me solely by using Yaks to destroy my refineries with enemy aircraft. And because I haven't been able to place AA guns everywhere quick enough, because I haven't had a radar dome, then I've lost. My money bottoms out, I've got no refineries, and they win because they produce 5 Yaks. And that kind of put me off using Allies a lot, but, you know, this was a fun game, and they did well, my Allied forces. A basic representation of their standard units, yes, but they did well, and they are good. It shows you how different they are with the nicely, very mobile tanks, and that, yeah, their armour is like cereal box thickness compared to a Soviet tank, and their guns are weaker, and the Soviets have better guns and 2 of them, but they have their other uses. They're very good for eco raids and going on a tour of the enemy bases. Medium tanks, they're excellent. So it's just, you have to use them well, but Allies are better, just harder to use. I mean, think of all the things spies can do, and mechanics can repair destroyed units and fix your tanks in the field. Spies can disguise themselves as any unit. That opens up so many options and possibilities, and spies can make your units veteran by putting them in an enemy barracks, your infantry a veteran. If you put one of your spies in an enemy war factory, your tanks are built as veterans. It's invaluable, and that is very important because it helps medium tanks match heavier Soviet tanks by making them veteran when they're produced. So it's important for later game to get a spy into the enemy production structures. But the spy has a lot of other uses, like, you know, all kinds of things. You can decoy one as Tanya and trick the enemy into thinking they've killed it, and then use the real Tanya somewhere else or something. But when you're using a spy, whether it's with the chokehold tactic that I use, where you hold an enemy refinery with an engineer, and you don't let him capture it, you tell him to capture again before the capture bar fills up, and it'll reset the capture bar, but the enemy can't sell it at that point, so then you can infiltrate with spies or thieves at your leisure. But if you just get the opportunity, say, to get a spy or a spy into an enemy refinery, don't or any other building that is your objective, don't disguise the spy as an enemy unit, an enemy soldier, because if the enemy sees one of their units heading for a refinery and they can't control it, they know it's a spy. So they'll immediately sell the refinery or go out of their way to kill the guy. But if they see one of your riflemen heading for their refineries and they can't control it, that's standard. They can't control your units, and they see one of your riflemen heading for a refinery. Now, one rifleman is not a threat. They don't know it's a spy. They think it's a rifleman. So don't disguise spies as the enemy units. Disguise them as your own non-threatening units. Even a civilian or a technician. It doesn't matter. Anything that the enemy won't freak out when they see it coming, and he can be hidden amongst the rest of your forces. So a thief can be seen. That's why I use APCs to drop them off and hold the refinery with a capture with an engineer so they can't sell it when I'm using thieves. But with spies, you have so many different options. They can be hidden amongst your ranks as a rifleman, and the enemy won't know they're there. And then half their cash is gone, or three of them will half their cash, and half their cash. I've done that to an opponent. It was in one of my earlier videos. I think it was on Pity Light, and I put 3 thieves straight into an enemy refinery. It's like, have it 3 times. It's like, you know, it's really nice to half their cash repeatedly. It's very good. So I won't keep yapping on because the game ended about 5 minutes ago, if not more. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and it's another Dvoid Learns Allies video. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and thanks to my opponent, good game and well played, and nice try with the distraction tactics. Yeah, nice try. So until next time, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed it, and take care all.
Battle control terminated.